They struck without warning, the Zuran Dominion, lords of the outer spiral, masters of subjugation, a race so ancient they believed themselves above consequence, descended on humanity's frontier colony of Helios 4, a world of green oceans and crystal mountains, a fledgling jewel where farmers and scientists nurtured the promise of a brighter future. The Dominion's fleet did not come to parley. No ultimatum, no demands. They arrived in orbit and unleashed fire. Helios 4's defense grid was young, its orbital platform still under construction. It held for 13 minutes. Then the sky tore open. Families gathered in underground shelters, listening to the distant thunder of orbital bombardment. They heard the collapse of cities, the scream of falling towers, the roar of oceans boiled by kinetic strikes. The air burned, the ground shook, and all that humanity had hoped to build there was reduced to ash. The Dominion broadcast the slaughter across the galaxy. They made sure the death of a single human colony became a spectacle, proof that Earth's reach was fragile, that humanity's hope was a flame easily snuffed. When the smoke cleared, Helios 4 was gone. 3 million souls erased, the laughter of tyrants in the halls of the Dominion. The slaughter was not mourned, it was celebrated. Admiral Korath, commander of the fleet, declared before the assembly, "The primates of Sol grow bold, but let them learn their place. They plant their roots too close to our borders. We have salted their soil. Now they will retreat to their cradle, tail tucked, and remember what it means to defy their betters." The assembly roared with cruel delight. They were a species bred on conquest, who measured strength by the volume of their cannons and the brightness of their burning enemies. They mocked Earth as timid diplomats, as philosophers too enamored with peace to raise a fist. They laughed at the silence that followed their massacre. "See how they cower?" Korath boasted to his peers. "Their silence is submission. Their silence is fear." The galaxy listened, and many believed him. After all, Earth had always been the conciliator, the negotiator, the voice calling for restraint among warring stars. Humanity was new to the galactic stage, and though they grew fast, they lacked the centuries of fleets that old empires possessed. Surely they would not retaliate. Surely they would mourn in silence, and so, for a time, the stars remained quiet. The silence before the storm, but the Dominion misunderstood humanity. They mistook stillness for weakness. Earth did not rush to respond. There were no counterattacks, no hasty declarations of war. The fleets remained docked, the armies remained grounded. To the outside observer, humanity did nothing. Yet beneath the quiet, the great engines of Earth began to turn. The call went out, not with fanfare, but with absolute precision. Every admiral recalled to command. Every shipwright ordered to accelerate production. Every sleeper fleet awakened, every classified weapon project unlocked. Billions of voices fell silent, not because they were afraid, but because they were listening. Listening to orders. Listening to destiny. In hidden shipyards orbiting gas giants, titanic hulls stirred. Dreadnoughts the size of cities, their weapons sealed for decades, powered up with a hum that shook space itself. At the edges of colonized space, patrol fleets vanished from trade lanes, only to reform into vast armadas assembling in the dark. And still, the galaxy saw nothing. The Dominion feasted, drank, and told stories of the burning of Helios 4. They mistook the silence for surrender. They did not notice that the stars had gone watchful, that the traffic of human ships no longer passed through common lanes, that even their allies had grown tight-lipped. The silence deepened, it spread, it became suffocating. Until at last, the silence ended. When the sky broke, it began with a transmission. Every Dominion outpost, every border world, every station, from the core to the rim, received the same signal. A voice, steady, cold, and unmistakably human. "Here is our reply." No threats, no boasts, no rhetoric, just 5 words, and then the fleets arrived. Human ships erupted from FTL like phantoms. Dreadnoughts, cruisers, carriers, black-hulled leviathans that had never been seen beyond Sol. Their formations were silent, immaculate, unshakable. The Dominion's border fleets, confident in their supremacy, opened fire with their proudest cannons. Plasma storms lit the void, missiles streaked, railgun slugs tore across the dark. But against the silence of Earth's war machine, their weapons were whispers. The first human volleys tore through them with biblical finality. Entire flotillas ceased to exist in a single breath. Planet-side garrisons fell beneath orbital fire that turned fortresses into molten glass. Where the Dominion had broadcast their cruelty, humanity transmitted nothing. No celebrations, no insults, no declarations, only silence. And fire. The galaxy watched as world after world went dark, not from Dominion conquest, but from human retribution. The roar of retribution. When Earth's main fleets reached Dominion core space, the galaxy finally understood what silence had. Concealed, armadas so vast they blotted out, suns. Carriers that released swarms of strikecraft like living storms. Columns of battleships that advanced. With such unyielding precision, they seemed like the march of inevitability itself. And then the ground assaults began. From orbit descended drop pods like falling stars, thousands, tens of thousands, each one carrying soldiers bred not for conquest, but for vengeance. They struck like thunder across Dominion strongholds, unflinching, unstoppable, merciless. Cities that once cheered the slaughter of Helios 4 now cowered in their bunkers as armored human battalions advanced through fire and ruin. Resistance was crushed with clinical efficiency. Civilians were spared when possible. But the Dominion's armies, the architects of Helios 4's annihilation, were given no quarter. Admiral Korath, once so proud of his victory, was dragged from the wreckage of his flagship. Humanity did not broadcast his execution. They did not need to. His silence was enough. Across the stars, observers trembled, for in the roar of Earth's vengeance, they understood. Humanity had never been pacifists. They had simply been patient. And when their patience ended, there was no fury in the galaxy that could compare. Aftermath in ashes. It lasted only 6 months. 6 months for an empire that had endured millennia to be reduced to rubble. The Dominion Assembly no longer met. Its palaces were shattered, its fleets broken, its admirals executed or fled into exile, and then, again, silence. The human fleets did not linger. They did not conquer, did not raise banners over the ruins. They simply stopped. The armadas withdrew, vanishing back into the void. The soldiers departed, their boots leaving only ashes where once stood monuments of arrogance. No message followed. No declaration of victory, only the silence. But this silence was different. It was not the hush of patience, nor the pause before vengeance. It was the silence of finality, of judgment rendered, of a lesson carved into the bones of a galaxy. On shattered worlds, survivors whispered the truth. Never provoke Earth again. Their silence roared louder than our loudest cannons. And across the stars, no one laughed. Echoes in the star's Helios 4 remained lifeless, a scar upon the galaxy. Humanity never rebuilt it, never returned. They left it as it was, a monument to the price of arrogance. But everywhere else, the silence lingered. Empires that once mocked Earth now spoke its name in hushed tones. Pirates steered clear of human trade routes. Border disputes vanished when human diplomats entered the chamber. Even ancient rivals thought twice before drawing their blades. Because the galaxy understood at last, humanity's silence is not weakness, it is warning. And when that silence is broken, it becomes the loudest roar the stars have ever heard.